Hey guys, this week's podcast features Chris Connolly, the owner of Cafe 59 and Madonna's. Chris came down, talked about how he got his start in the restaurant world, taking over Cafe 59 and Allentown's evolving restaurant scene. Let's get...
This actually all kind of started because of the in-event that was, I guess, last week now. I tried your pumpkin apple
ginger.
Yeah. And it reminded me. I was like, oh my God, like I remember Cafe 59 has fucking awesome soups.
And we've been making them for 13, 14 years now.
Yeah. And but it was so good, and like there was some pretty big foodies in there, and like people who it's hard to really impress them. And I had a couple chefs coming over and being like, "Did you try the soup?" Like,
I think that everyone makes some mistakes, and everyone tries so hard, and food is competitive. And
yeah,
I think restaurant people in general are competitive.
Yeah,
but they forget that if it's a pumpkin apple ginger soup, it should taste like pumpkin, apples, and ginger.
Yeah.
We don't need to have 12 kinds of specially named peppers. We don't need to have, Madras curry foam.
Yeah.
Just make it taste like fucking pumpkin and apple. And people will ask us, what do you put in your soup? And I say, well, if it's mushroom soup, mostly mushrooms. And I think that's the secret to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And people, they try too hard.
Yeah.
On the other hand, one of the things that people sometimes say they don't like about our food at both the cafe and Madonna's is that we're very basic.
Yeah.
And I say, well, that's sure are. That's the point. That's take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky enough with the cafe that people always take it. And Madonna's, we're catching on. We've developed a regular clientele, and it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
I love Lombardo. I love Tempo. They're all great restaurants.
Yeah, but it's a different.
I love Santa Cero's. I love Marco's. And I go to those places. Mm-hmm. We were really going for more of a model at Madonna's that's like a Santa Cero's with a wine list.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel that.
Home style. Fresh, basic food.
I would say it's in a little bit of a nicer setting.
And actually, that's one of the other funny things is some of these restaurants are gorgeous.
Yeah.
You walk into places and beautiful.
Yeah.
It reminds me of places I went to when you walk into the bathroom and some guy wipes your coat down for you, which always freaked me out a little as a child.
It's understandable.
It was a bit much. But the money that goes into those places, what's the money going in? How much do you have to sell to make up for one really, really nice chandelier?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't own our properties. We rent both of them.
Yeah.
Same landlord, actually. And we enter into the businesses as sort of, do-it-yourselfers.
Yeah.
What can I do on a really strict budget so that I don't need to charge, $6 for every beer, and I don't need to charge $10 for a glass of wine?
Yeah.
If I enter in with no debt, immediately. I mean, sure, you can go out of business, but it's it's a lot harder to. We can be a little bit more generous with our employees' pay, and we can be a little bit more generous on our pricing in general.
That's really good.
There's different ways of looking at these things.
And I mean, and I would even say, like, Madonna's doesn't even look like it was really that on like a low budget or anything. I think it looks really nice. Like, I would never go in there and be like, oh man, I wish they.
I really love dark places. I'm an Irish Pollock. I want wood paneling. I want everything to look like a den. I want heads on the walls. And
I'm with you.
Gabriel's Gate on a Sunday is great because it's dark.
Yeah.
A little bit musty in a good way.
Yeah.
But we have so many windows at both of our spots that we just had to go for light and clean.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all Madonna's.
There was no way to make it not bright.
Yeah,
so
it's just taking out windows or something like that. But that's not going to happen.
Well, especially not in a preservation zone.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that.
It took 2 preservation meetings to get the patio, a temporary patio. And it's environmental impact study. We somewhere we destroyed a small owl, or I don't know.
That sidewalk was very important.
It really was.
120 years ago, Mark Twain walked on that sidewalk.
One of our window ledges is actually rotting out, and we call it the rainforest because there's some moss there.
Nice.
My luck, it's endangered.
But when I had that soup, I was a judge this year at the Soup Fest too. And
you judged wrong. We didn't win the beer challenge.
Yeah,
so I'm just saying.
Well, I will say that was a panel of several people, and maybe me and a certain person next to me were trying to vocalize our approval of your soup.
Then you judged correctly, and everyone else was stupid.
but I remember having it, and I think we tried like 19 soups, and it was like basically like it was rough, but I remember really distinctly remembering that your soup was like one of the better ones I had at that.
Well, we did a
contest.
Chocolate stout mole.
Yeah.
And it tasted like chocolate.
Oh,
not sweet
so
chocolate,
great.
clearly, but...
Yeah. And I don't think maybe the rest of the panel, who were more media types, not actually food people, got the I think they were expecting basically like a Hershey syrup and like
it's possible. I mean,
yeah, but I really loved it. It was like really complex. It had like a really good flavor to it, and yeah, when I had the soup again, I was like, holy crap, because I used to work in Benderson. Okay. So I literally every day for lunch would go to like Cafe 59.
All the Benderson employees still do. So yeah. I'm happy to say.
Yeah. And that was a while ago. I left probably like 3 years ago. So it was before I think you really maybe took it over.
Yeah, I was there when the place first opened.
Oh, okay.
14 years ago. I actually lived in the apartment above.
Nice.
The cafe. I was in grad school at the time, and I was cooking at Biox, which is now Tempo.
Oh, okay.
And I went on and I kind of did my life in school and jobs. And
yeah.
A couple of years later, I realized I hated my job and quit.
Was it like an office gig?
Yeah, I ended up sitting at a desk, pretty much.
I feel your pain.
So the bar I used to go to every day after work and complain about my job was Kay Gallagher's.
Nice.
And one day I showed up early, and the owner says, "You quit, didn't you, Chris?" I said, yeah. Want a bartender? Sure, what the fuck? You want to start tomorrow? Okay. And I said, I bartended in the past, and I cooked kind of all through college and grad school. And the one day, the owner, Leon of Cafe 59, who I got started with 13 years earlier, he had enough. He was a computer guy, never really liked food service. I just think he got into it because it was same reason anyone does. It's there. And he said, "You want it? I'm tired of this." Sure, whatever. That's how my life goes. Things pop by. I said, okay, what the hell? Sure.
Just super casual.
Sure, fine, whatever. And did it, and we really got the place rolling again.
Yeah.
To the point, and by doing the simple things, by roasting our own meats and just using better quality ingredients, and doing things like the soups.
Yeah.
And making everything from scratch, making everything good but approachable.
Yeah.
We don't throw a lot of calamari in the soups over at the cafe, but on the other hand, we do throw a lot of cod. Yeah. So people, it's not that they don't like seafood; it's just choosing things will sell. Mm-hmm. And our customers have kind of really come to, I think, trust us, especially on soups. Yeah, because they'll buy almost anything, whether it's a curry or a spicy. And they do
those are the first things to go. Like,
it's one of them. We'll tell them is if you don't like it, we'll give you a different. It's a cup of soup. I'm not gonna nickel and dime you on this. So we're easy going on that, and people try it. And every once in a while, somebody says, "I hated this." And I said, "Sure, here's beef barley, whatever." Take it.
Yeah.
But that's how I got into that place, and then a couple years later, it was ready for a new something different. I got a little bored.
Okay.
And the place across the street at the time was Atmosphere at 62.
Yeah.
And they didn't seem to be doing too well.
Yeah.
So we spoke to the landlord, and the same landlord as the cafe.
Yeah.
And we negotiated a lease for that place. And I like negotiating. So I kind of held the coffee shop over their head and said, I'll close that fucking place down too. And then...
that works out.
And it worked. Because I'm here. Otherwise, I would have been back at a desk probably. Or sitting at Gallagher's.
Yeah. Now
we're not
now Don Tequila.
Now there's Don Tequila.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that. But we're real simple people, and I think that's what makes us popular. Mm-hmm. It's the reason I was John and Judy from Sterling Place Tavern.
Yeah.
Probably my two favorite restaurant owners in the city. They close on Saturdays in the summer.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, because it's hot. But really, it's because they don't want to be there. They've got a cute little cottage in Canada. And
yeah. That place, like I love and also get extremely frustrated with like the way they run it.
That's why it's so good. It's the whole. It's like a special thing.
Yeah.
And
if you get a burger, it's like you hit the lottery. Yeah. Like, I got one.
And the great thing is then John, Judy pulls a chair over and sits with you and says, what the hell do you want? Take a speckled hen or something. But we were discussing this, and he was talking about some people he knew and how you can either make $1 million when you first open up and you're the coolest new thing, and those places come and go.
Yeah. Or
you can make $10 a day for 150 years. And honestly, if I could make $1 million in the first year and close the place, I'd be fine with that. I would not.
It's not like that. You're not like a.
I love my businesses, but they're not kids, which I don't have. So it's. I mean, I just imagine people love their kids. I don't know.
That makes sense. I'd buy it.
I like my places, but I'd open something new. I'd change, and that's the way you really have to approach it. I think is that if you're going to do this and it's part of your life, it's not about making $1 million. It's about kind of staying open and making a comfortable living.
Yeah.
But make a little bit every day.
Yeah.
When you get your art festival weekends and you hit your St. Patrick's Day, take it.
Do you get really hit pretty hard with that kind of stuff?
Well, this is our first year. We'll almost be one full year in October.
I see.
But like St. Patrick's Day, you're going to be full because people drink anywhere along Allen Street.
They want booze.
Thankfully, it's sort of near one of the sales tax quarter. So there's always something that kind of gets you through each quarter. The holidays for the winter quarter, art festival for summer.
Yeah, there you go.
St. Patrick's spring. Nothing in the fall. That was
no. Hopefully soup.
Yeah, well, we already paid the sales tax. It's terrible. So soup's getting ready for next.
I see.
The next one.
Well, I mean, when you so you took it over in like 2011-ish, I read,
yeah, 3
right?
years or so.
Okay. How, like when I went there, like it was probably before that. It was really bare bones. Like it was like kind of almost like a coffee shop. Like it looked.
Yep.
And when you took it over, it got a little bit nicer. I noticed. Like there was actually like placemats. And
yeah, they come and they go. We're actually doing a little bit of renovation work right now just to kind of expand our seating and so we're sort of in between. A nice customer actually offered to bring me posters the other day. I can bring some posters for your walls. I'm like, no, we're painting. Well, we got stuff. It's just a bag. We're just... But
I mean, was there any uneasiness with any of the diehards with like a new regime taking it over?
I mean, and it's funny because people will come in and I think when you own a small business of any form, everyone tells you how you should do it.
Yeah,
and everyone knows it's the best way, and they hate. People love things that they're always the same way. They don't like change.
Exactly, yeah.
On the other hand, if it's a failing business, then
you got to change something.
You got to change. I mean, try something different. So I did lose a couple customers, and it was actually funny. At the time, Leon was totally out of the business, and he was going to the dentist, and while the hygienist is working on his teeth, she was complaining about I got rid of make your own salads.
Ah, okay.
And this is like 2 years later. And she's still complaining. He's like, I'm not here anymore. This is not my thing.
Yeah.
And she came in one day and yelled at me, and she's yelling at me, and there's no seats available, and I'm saying, what? You're never coming here again. Okay, I mean, but you do realize that we're busy. We're actually busy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's restaurants I hate in the city of Buffalo. They're packed every night. And it's like, God, I can't go in there and say you're doing it wrong.
No. That's not really working.
No. So
I mean, I could bitch and bone about Olive Garden for the rest of my life.
Out the door.
But every day there will be every Friday there will be a 3-hour wait.
And it's funny, like people bitch about the city versus suburb thing.
Yeah.
And if nothing points that out more, it's the chain restaurants.
Yeah.
You're anywhere near the Galleria Mall, and God forbid somebody opens a small independent mom and pop. There is nobody there. No. And there is just a line out the door. People holding those stupid flashing pagers to get into Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, people getting told, like, you have to come back here an hour for me to give you the pager, and then that'll be another 2 hours.
And they're happy to do so. And then the motherfuckers, they'll come to me and they'll bitch they can't park in front of the business. Uh-huh. And they're parked 3 blocks over in the end of the parking lot. But because it's one contiguous parking lot, it's okay. We should just number all the parking spaces all down Allen Street.
I like that.
And they'll think it's one giant parking lot. We'll be fine with it.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I know parking is kind of I think it's scared some people away from Allentown. I mean, at least for opening like restaurants and businesses.
And I get it at lunchtime because there's a time crunch. But honestly, it's not that I think parking enforcement's loosened up a little too.
Yeah.
When I lived on Allen Street, I must have gotten a ticket every day. I've never worked a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Even when I had a desk job, it wasn't 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So if you don't switch your car around or the 15-minute parking, and they were just ticketing because they wanted to. And, Franklin Street there was no ability to park on there because at the time it was all one way.
Oh, that's right.
So where that loosens up restrictions, and I think they just got a little bit softer on it.
Yeah,
which makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think so too.
You spend $10 on lunch and you get a $35 ticket, you consider not doing it again.
Yeah, I had that happen at the food truck rodeo. It was a bad time. I mean, besides
you should have walked down to Madonna's.
Besides, like the salad thing. I mean, I saw in an article that you were like adding more meat to the menu and things like that. I mean, when we went, I think we actually went shortly after you took over, and we had what the hell was it? It was like a roast beef on or French dip and things like that. And I was like, whoa.
Well, you know what? And that was. How should I say? We love vegetarians. We really, really do.
Yeah.
But the place had become kind of typecast.
Yeah.
Sort of like I would never go to Merge for a steak.
No.
It wouldn't even be on my radar as a place to go if I felt like eating meat. And they have chicken and they've got, the food's good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the cafe was sort of in the vegan vegetarian typecast.
Yeah.
Which scared away a lot of the, and that's funny, as the medical campus people moved in, You think they're all vegetarian? No, they're
all smoking outside the campus.
Yeah, the pile of cigarette butts around Roswell is amazing.
Every time I drive by it, it's like there's a huge group of people smoking, or like Children's Hospital. I'm like, all right.
Yep. One of my previous incarnations had a lot of time around morgues.
Yeah.
And all the pathologists, chain smoking alcoholics. And they're flicking their cigarette butt. Of course, you always put the morgue on the ass end of the hospital because you're going to get your new baby delivered and drive past the morgue. It's not exactly the selling point for a hospital.
Exactly.
So the oxygen tanks are back there too. These giant 1,000-gallon oxygen tanks, because if they blow up, who are you going to kill?
Yeah.
And the guys are just sitting there, just flicking their butts at the oxygen tank, and I realized that it's there's safety checks, but don't poke the bear. You get that weird. And actually, I really liked morgue people because they share a lot of mentality in common with restaurant people.
Oh yeah,
weird hours and just angry, horrible people that really are just disgusting human beings. But you really appreciate what you do, and I think you get a little appreciation for restaurant people have an appreciation for eating out because you see what goes into it, and morgue people have an appreciation for life because they're not dead. But they still like to complain and poke at it. And you see that in the restaurant people.
I can see that. I always tried to make the parallel of like the retail industry and restaurant people because I worked in that sector for like 9 years, and it was basically like a thing where no one really liked their job, but we all banded together because we would get so angry at customers.
Look at really strongly nationalistic countries, countries like Israel.
Yeah,
there's mandatory military service. Everyone's in the military at some point in their career. It's just part of what you do.
Yeah.
I think everyone should have to work in either retail or restaurants or customer service just for a year.
Yeah. Just to
you would be so much nicer.
Yeah.
You'd tip.
Exactly. I have like a strong rule that I will never yell at somebody or like just like lose my shit at any type of store or like holiday shopping or anything like that. Like I just
I'm usually the guy who's in line at the price right and the poor woman's getting screamed at behind the counter. I'm like, honey, here's a coupon for a free beer after work. I get it. I really think people if they wait on other customers, other people just for one day, even they understand that
it can be a drag.
And the condescension. Some people just look at you like you're
yeah. Like you clearly didn't go to college.
Yeah. If I'm mopping your mansion, the floors in your mansion, that's fine. But I'm not.
Yeah.
So get off it.
When you took over the cafe, did you already have like your recipes already figured out, or because had you like been a while when you weren't in the restaurant industry at that point, or
even when I wasn't in the restaurant industry, I was still always cooking. And I've done it since 6th or 7th grade. I was a stock boy in a deli in New York, and it just never kind of left.
Yeah.
And I've done other things, but I've always sort of had my foot in the ground in food service. And I was still doing caterings on the side, even during my other jobs. And at one place in the hospital, I was actually doing like soup on Fridays to sell to the other employees as a fundraiser for the patients.
Yeah.
So every Friday, I'd make a 5-gallon batch of soup, and we'd sell it for a buck a cup or whatever it was, and throw $50 in the patient slush fund.
Yeah.
Now I just charge $3 instead of $1.
So you always were. You didn't lose the skills, I guess you could say. You always were keeping them fresh.
I don't think it's riding a bike. Mm-hmm. You know what? And it's even funny. Like now, if I have to jump on the line and I have a really busy Friday, it takes you a second to catch up, but really you flick right back into it.
Nice.
Everything's moved around because your other staff doesn't put things the same place you did, and that's annoying. But, but other than that, no, you get right back into it.
Nice.
Like nothing.
That's pretty, I guess
it's
good.
Fun.
Yeah, because we went pretty soon after you took it over, I think, and everything was good. I didn't notice that it was like new ownership. I was like, oh wow, this is still running like an oil machine.
But also because I don't really change much, anywhere ever. You just do enough to change the general feel of it and just really just up the food quality a little.
Yeah.
So I did have to raise the prices a little bit when I took over too.
Yeah.
Partially just put them more in line with what everyone was charging.
Yeah.
Rents go up. But also to pay for the increased, like the protein portions.
Yeah.
The sandwiches used to be very thin, let's just say.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and now they aren't.
Yeah.
One of the ways we offset the cost is, so I give you a whole ton of turkey, but it also means I have turkey drippings for my soup,
Use everything.
Nothing gets thrown away.
No,
cooks are great during depressions. we waste nothing.
So So the location where Madonna's is, we've lived here for 4 years. It's been 2 restaurants in that time. It was Fiddleheads when we first moved here, and then it was Atmosphere. Was there any nervousness about taking over a location that had...
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, and in fact, it wasn't even just that it was Fiddleheads. It was multiple Fiddleheads during that during that time.
Yeah.
Different owners. And
mm-hmm. Yeah, they were like, at one point they were like brunch and like breakfast.
Well, that was more of a family issue.
Yeah.
For that,
okay.
I don't want to say this, but if you have children, you shouldn't own a restaurant. I'm talking to you, Kirsty, if she's listening. But she, when you have 2 parents that both work in a restaurant, your kids hit an age where it's no longer babysitters, and now it becomes Little League and softball. It gets in the way.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I think the other thing is that Allentown, the demographics are moving around a little bit.
Yeah.
More home ownership, which kind of is funny because it actually decreases your number of bodies.
Yeah.
Instead of having 20 college kids jammed into a house,
that makes sense. Yeah,
you have a family,
a single family
who goes home, makes dinner, watches TV, and falls asleep. Instead of
like 4 college guys who like have,
eating out every night and blowing all their student loan extras on
the checks that they get from their mom and dad,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but so went through that. My feeling was the reason it didn't last was it was too expensive.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad, but I kind of feel like
Fiddleheads was. I mean, we went there once, and it was it was on the pricier end.
It's not. It's Mother's prices. Give or
take.
Yeah. And I think Mother's is very reasonable. I thought Fiddleheads was reasonably priced.
It's
just that how often do you eat out? And when you do eat out, what do you buy?
Yeah.
Do you get more takeout pizza and wings, or do you get more Mother's? And in the grand scheme of things, you get a hell of a lot more pizza and wings.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's actually one of the things we've been sort of fighting with. We still get the phone calls. What's the dress code? What's the
Oh, really?
Because and you have to kind of break that mold because it was an expensive place for quite a while.
Oh.
How do you remind people that now we're casual?
I feel like Allentown thinks that way is if there's never like wings on the menu.
I realize the wings on the menu. That's actually not a bad idea. We'll switch right over to that. One of the things we're doing is we're going to start at the Allentowner, about the newer local paper.
Yeah.
We're talking to them. We're going to start doing like a $30 family dinner.
Nice.
And instead of pizza and wings, it's going to be chicken parm or eggplant parm and some pasta and that kind of stuff and salad.
Yeah.
But the same sort of, we're casual family. And we are seeing more of that. The neighborhood people are coming in. A lot of to-go orders, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And they're just taking dinner home because they figured it out. This is the same price as getting a pizza. And, and it's casual, easy food. Uh-huh. It's not worth boiling your own pasta and making your own meatballs. Plus, ours are better. But, and that's the thing. How do you... The cafe is a good example of this. It used to be Java Temple. I don't know if you were here in Allentown when it was...
I was not, no.
Heidi was the proprietress of Java Temple.
Okay.
Absolute, dive bar style cafe.
Yeah.
Old couches, everything was painted black. There was a cat, Sebastian. Smoking and everything else.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like a thrift store, and everything was for sale. Used nice. Clothes,
anything that was on the wall.
Ketchup. There were actually recycled ketchup bottles full of peanut oil because, I miss Heidi.
It's a different Allentown.
It's a different Allentown. So then when Leon took it over, it was going to be just a cafe.
Yeah.
Just coffee and that kind of stuff. And I looked at him and said, "You're not going to pay the rent on just coffee." That's At the time, the rent was probably $1,500 a month. It was give or take.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of coffee cups.
Yeah.
So I started a little food thing with him and got him going on it. And you kind of at this point where what are you? Are you a cafe? Are you a restaurant?
Yeah.
The name, it's called cafe because the name never changed. We're more of sort of like a Chris's New York Sandwich Company or something at this point. So, how do you change that? And the answer is it just kind of changes. Mm-hmm. It's an organic change, and if we sold more coffee, we'd be more of a coffee shop. We'd have more comfy couches, and it'd be playing smooth jazz. But we sell more sandwiches, so we don't.
Yeah.
I tried. God knows I tried. I did later hours. When I first took over, of course, Buffalo Rising is the king of people, bitching and moaning about you.
The comment section,
it
will haunt your dreams.
It does,
I mean, people talk shit about Yelp, and Yelp is another beast on itself, but the Buffalo Rising commenters are dedicated to a degree that I've never seen.
Well, Yelp is like Buffalo Rising. If Buffalo Rising took the better comments and hid them, unless you bought advertising, I'm not saying Yelp is terrible. I'm just saying that,
it can be.
Yeah, I think that the Yelp review for Yelp isn't all that good.
Nice. That was good.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, no. But Buffalo Rising is also notorious for.
And everyone said they should be open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. And bakery and all this other bullshit. So I tried staying open later, and you just lose money. So I did it for months and months and months, and finally I said, okay, I've given this enough time that the next person that comes in and says, why aren't you open later, I can punch in the face and feel perfectly okay about this. And the nice thing was they never came in because it's and I get it, you work 9 to 5, you work in the burbs, we're closed. Well, whatever job you have, I want that at 6 a.m. on Sunday. When I get home. It's really, we all have terrible jobs. We all, work sucks. I get it. We commute. I want things at weird hours because I don't work 9 to 5. So why the hell aren't you at your desk?
Exactly, right? So as long as there's enough of those people to justify it, then great. But
and you try, and again, you can either pay your employees $1 an hour, or you can
exactly
give it 8 months, suck the loss, and okay.
Did that trial and error with Cafe 59 help with the opening of Madonna's? Was there maybe less trial and error that you've done?
No, because they're people still don't know we're related businesses.
Oh, really?
All the time. Just last night there was there's one of the couples who I see at the cafe, I don't know, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And so we didn't know this was you. Or no, they said, we know you're open on Mondays too. I'm like, we're open on Mondays, it's me. What are you doing here? I don't know, just drinking free wine.
Yeah,
and it's just funny. You don't. So we've kind of tried to push out the fact we're in the same place.
Yeah.
But I
think it makes sense. I mean, if you have a fan of a certain restaurant, they kind of. It's Mike A's empire that he's built. I think a lot of those restaurants, people know, like, oh, that's Mike A's Cantina Loco.
Put a stamp on it. I mean, it's it's his, and therefore people, if they like one, they like the other. It's why do people go to Olive Garden? Because the Olive Garden's the same in Milwaukee as it is in Buffalo, and they like Olive Garden.
Yeah.
All the breadsticks you can eat.
Did you always think it was going to be an Italian restaurant, or did you play with any other cuisines?
Well, we played with some different ideas. I mean, I guess when I looked at Allentown, what we don't have is a good Chinese restaurant, a good Indian restaurant, at the time we had a good Ethiopian restaurant, but I had no idea to make that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that would take a lot of R&D.
Or I'd have to hire an entire staff, I wouldn't know if they were doing it right or wrong. Lying to me, I do.
You're just trying the food.
Turmeric, $8,000 cash a pound. Okay, here you go. Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas, Italian, we also thought there are no casual Italian places in Allentown.
No.
There's, 20 of them on Hurdle. There's all up and down Niagara Street.
Yeah.
But there is no casual Italian restaurant over there. And although I was talking to Leon the other day about this, the place is kind of blue and white and kind of woody looking, and so the other, there's no Scandinavian cuisine here. That's our next thing. We're gonna call it Fjord.
Nice.
It's gonna be lingonberries and salmon and very, very pale waitresses.
Scandinavian's hot right now.
Well, let's face it, it's Buffalo. We're Nordic. It's cold and gray a lot.
Yeah, right. You don't realize it.
We can get akavit and Mavlou together, but we'll try it. So we decided on Italian, and I had actually worked when I first came to Buffalo for Mama Rose's that had been around for, 60 years.
Yeah.
And then La Riviera, which is the other side of the family from Orazio's. So I'd done sort of casual Italian, and we seemed to do fine.
So you had some,
some background, and it seems like Italian sauce for places in Buffalo, the same model. You're not packed every day, but every day you're doing fine. You make your money on the weekends.
Yeah.
For yourself, but you pay the businesses Monday through Friday. Monday through Wednesday. Right? So that was just kind of how it happened.
Nice.
And we also had to come something pretty quick. I actually wanted Gallagher's.
Oh, really?
I wanted the Gallagher's location. It wasn't going for sale fast enough.
I see.
And there were some other just issues on it with taxes and some other stuff.
Yeah.
So we really wanted that. And of course, the day after we get together on... It's all the same landlord, I should tell you this, too.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, what do you guys think about Gallagher's? I'm like, a week ago, asshole. What did I tell you?
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I like restaurants that have no storage space, minuscule kitchens, no basements, and it just... So this one fit right in. It was... it's great.
Was it easier to get going after the start?
Well, once you get through the actual business ends of getting going...
Yeah.
And, of course, then we hit September, and the County Council doesn't meet at all in September. They get the month off, because we all do. So we couldn't get no permits for that whole month.
Everyone goes on holiday in September.
Actually, I got to say, the Liquor Authority was the easiest thing to deal with.
I was going to ask, I was expecting that would be horrible.
Nope. They were, the website's clear. And okay, admittedly, they're an authority, and the pamphlet you have to fill out has the same question 39 times, and it's.
And then you're just second guessing yourself.
Yeah, but even the attorney had to call a couple of times. Just like, what does this mean? And he's like, I just fill it out. But actually, that part was pretty easy. Yeah, and part of it is that we have a good relationship with the neighborhood. The cafe, we sweep the sidewalks, we donate to every charity known to man. So when it comes down to the community input, nobody stepped up and said we don't want these guys opening a place with a liquor license.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess
we had letters of support from a lot of the people around us, and
nice.
And that makes it easy.
Yeah,
when you go in and everyone in the neighborhood says, "Oh, they should open another place." Great, we love it. Just a little stability. So.
Yeah. I guess
zero problems at all.
Awesome.
It took us about 8 weeks from the time we applied for the actual license to arrive. Which is
pretty good.
About as fast as anything can go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, damn, that's pretty damn good. And you guys did like some pretty. I mean, you renovated the inside pretty well. I mean, I know you like took down a wall and.
Well, we moved a wall a little bit. If we didn't move the wall about 3 feet, we couldn't get the bar to double in size.
Oh, right.
And that was the big thing. If you remember, Fiddleheads always had that weird little walkway.
Yeah.
It was just dead space. There's no seats.
Yeah.
So we lost about 3 feet in the kitchen, which is significant. But adding another 10 seats at the bar is, more significant.
Was like the change of the business model at all getting used to? I mean, like it's a little bit later. I don't know if it's more waiters and waitresses.
But again, we're so casual, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, none of my staff has to wear a uniform.
Yeah.
It's just it's those little things that they drive me nuts. And I had one person complain that the waiter was too casual, and I'm like, okay. And of course, I smiled and nodded. I'll talk to him.
We're gonna have a talk about those tattoos.
But it's either take it or leave. It's Allentown. My staff all gets along. They do things on the weekends together.
That's good.
Everyone's friendly and
camaraderie.
And part of that's just if you're not gonna make $1 million by opening one of these cool places with high end stuff and $100 plates, then you might as well be happy at work.
Yeah.
And be fairly laid back, and we are.
Yeah.
So. Even the business model wasn't really a big thing. It it either happens or it doesn't.
Yeah,
that's sort of my approach to everything. You do something.
I like that a lot.
If I'm losing money every month, then I stop and I open Fjord. If not that, I don't know, another taco place.
Those seem to be popular.
Yeah, it's there used to be a place in Buffalo called Garcia's Irish Pub.
Yeah,
and my dad used to come here on business quite a bit, and he used to go to Garcia's, and it always struck me as being one of those names that sounds like a Mexican Irish place.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that might be a. That might be a thing.
That'd be a pretty great idea.
Corned beef tacos. And
that's actually...
That might be my next one. It's hangover food. It's the hangover and the hangover food combined in the one fell swoop.
Yeah, you go. You just got to find another place on Allen so you can have all of them. You can start owning the block.
Well, the old Lanyap's is for sale. So
there you go.
It's stripped, though. The building is absolutely stripped.
Yeah, I live right next to it, and I've walked by it plenty of times, and it's not looking...
No,
Godspeed.
I hope they all do great, but maybe one of the 3 new pizza places will become available. That's one of those you wonder, did they talk to each other?
It happens like that in waves. Like I feel like
the yogurt on Elmwood.
Yeah, the yogurt on Elmwood is insane. There 3 places open in a matter.
I like frozen yogurt.
Yeah,
but there's a
are all of them just like watching each other like who's blinking first?
They're probably all on Yelp bitching about each other. That fucking place. Razor blades in the cream.
That's actually pretty hilarious.
You actually see that a lot. And I do tend to piss people off. Usually ex-lovers or workers or that kind of stuff. And every once in a while, I try to not read these things all that often. But you hop online, just you Google your own place. And both the cafe and Madonna's will overnight on Urban Spoon go from 90 rating to 70.
Oh,
both of them. It's like, well, somebody's sitting there clicking.
It is pretty horrible. If you look at some of the comments, you can either clearly tell when it's somebody who has a personal vendetta against somebody, or if it's a family member who just writes the most hyperbole.
Actually, one of my former employees at the cafe, Moira, she was great. She actually worked there 10 years ago. Came back again.
Nice.
Now she's in nursing school, so it's one of those. It's always available over summers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And
she loves the place. She's a very hard worker, and she takes things very personal, which is why I like her. And one day I was reading one on the cafe, and it's, the lettuce tastes unwashed, nothing's fresh, the bacon's greasy, just everything. And as soon as I said, nothing tastes fresh, her face just turned beet red. That fucking asshole, how can it not be, and it's really, we go through so much volume of food.
Yeah, that it's almost impossible.
I mean, we go through 5 cases of greens a day,
Wow.
We're making 2 turkeys, a day. It's fresh. It could not be fresh.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's just funny to watch the employees that really that pisses them off.
That's good.
It's good. And that's a good employee.
Yeah, exactly. So you've been familiar with Allentown for a pretty long time now.
I've lived here since 2000.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. How have you seen it? Even let's say in the last 3 years since you've been at taking over Cafe 59, have you seen that more people are coming here to eat? I mean, there has been some restaurant turnover here and there.
There's turnover. There's always turnover. Restaurant turnover it's a risky business. It's a hard business.
Yeah.
And even saying keeping things fresh. When you don't use those greens because there's a snowstorm, they get thrown out.
Yeah.
If I sold jewelry, it would sit there in a case. No big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Food goes bad.
Yeah.
And you can either serve it a little bit not fresh, or you can just say, screw it, toss it, make it into soup. I don't know. But I think that's one of the things that restaurants make the mistake of when we actually took over the kitchen at Madonna's, going through the cooler of the few things left behind. Just kind of the amount of frozen stuff, and sort of that. It just shows you that they were. Yeah. That's where you lose money.
Yeah.
Seafood's expensive.
Yeah.
You throw away one lobster, well then half the case was just sold for nothing. That's your margin.
Jeez.
Restaurants work. 10% is kind of what you hope to actually take home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to burn 10%. That's really it's not a lot.
Yeah. I mean, have you noticed the clientele change at all? Or?
Yeah, the medical campus.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
That huge difference, and it brings a lot of people down. Mm-hmm. It brings people with good paying jobs down.
Yeah.
I'm guessing most of the positions over there have a little more freedom in their lunch breaks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you have to be back in exactly an hour. Or,
yeah.
We see that a lot with all the attorneys up and down Franklin and the architects. They're a little bit thinking they take a lunch when they want to take a lunch.
Yeah.
So they know it's too busy at 12:30.
Yeah.
So they come in at 11:30 or they come in at 1:30. They have that freedom.
Yeah.
And they hang out and they'll have a little lunch meeting or whatever, and then go across the street for a glass of wine. And I like to get them for at least 2 meals a day, or at least a happy hour drink.
That's smart. That's smart thinking.
Yeah, we try to push that a little bit. Really.
Chris, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. I mean, what do you have in plans for the future? I mean, is there anything you'd like to do with either of the restaurants? Maybe.
We've been the cafe. I think we're going to kind of just keep going in the way we're going.
Yeah.
I'd like to do some kitchen expansion over there. Mm-hmm. The kitchens are very small.
Oh, okay.
You poke your head in someday. They're tiny. And one of the big expenses there is adding an Ansel system.
Yeah.
And there are apartments above us.
Yeah.
So we can't block windows, and that really sort of limits what we can do hot food wise. I wouldn't mind doing a little bit more of some more hot food.
Yeah.
But it requires a fairly large investment.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even think about that with the.
We're between firewalls right now, and it buys us 1 convection oven and 6 burners. That's all I can fit in.
Wow.
You can do some stuff with electric.
Yeah.
So we're considering some small expansion that way. As for Madonna's, we've really been pushing the wine and beer list. Right now I have about 50 beers and probably about the same number of wines running.
Wow.
Yep. Most of our craft beers, we don't go above $5.
That's really good.
We're like $4 on Maudit and Blanche de Chambly. We're $4 on Smutty Nose, which is actually what I've been drinking lately. The Smutty Nose Pumpkin.
Oh,
it's been
one of my favorites.
It's pumpkin-y, but it's not quite so spicy, which I like.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like pie.
Yeah.
Just like pumpkin ginger soup. It should taste like freaking. It actually tastes like
Tying
pumpkin.
It all back
there's a picture of a pumpkin on it. Make it taste like the fucking. And
I like how we tied that up. That was very Quentin Tarantino.
I tell you, my life is Pulp Fiction. Fewer drugs. Yeah, and I think really Madonna's. It's just really we're trying to push the casualness of everything.
Nice.
Weekends, people come in on the weekends. Definitely reservations at that time, and we like that. You can fill up, and people eat multiple courses, and and drink a little more. But really, it's kind of getting that whole neighborhood coming on a Monday or Tuesday. Just split a bottle of wine. A lot of them are in the $20 range.
Yeah.
And we put a lot of effort into the wine list. It's all Italian.
Nice.
I must taste the dozen wines for everyone we pick, which is
It's a hard job.
It's a hard job. It's a difficult job. In fact, I think I missed a wine tasting today because of this thing.
My apologies.
She'll come back tomorrow. Don't worry. But yeah, it's by specifically not trying to be overdone and fancy and pretentious and expensive.
Yeah.
We really do try to keep the prices and the food and the margins as comfortable as possible for everybody.
Nice.
And I think that's all the stuff that just kind of comes around. And it's molecular gastronomy, people, El Bulli, it's out of business.
Yeah. They were losing money.
They were losing like $1 million a year.
Yeah,
again, it had its heyday. It was a thing.
Yeah.
They were the top of, the creme de la creme for 2, 3, 4 years, or maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
With a waiting list to get in. And,
one day and it sold out in like an hour.
Yep. And then it passed.
Yeah.
People, Hester Blumenthal is one of those, guys, fat dog, and at least the food's food.
Yeah.
But now he also does it's like the Sitco stations. I forget what they call them in England. But
yeah.
It's like it's a Howard Johnson's of England. He's doing those now because people really do want mushy peas and beef stew. It's just deep down they know they want that.
Yeah.
They're sitting around their friends. Of course they want aspic jellies and nitrogen frozen mint.
Yeah.
But really they want fucking food.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should look like food, taste like food.
Especially when it's cold.
Especially when it's cold.
Nice hearty.
Give me a bowl of stew or a lamb shank. I'm a happy guy. Maybe 6 or 7 beers.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming down here. It was really fun talking to you. And keep up the great work. We have the unfortunate problem where I have to eat somewhere new pretty much always, and so I don't get to repeat places.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, but I know it's a hard job. But Madonna's is very high on our list because when we went there, we had a really nice time, and I love that bar. Like I think it's just perfect just to have a couple small plates and some booze and just hang out. So I plan on doing that very soon.
We'll be there. You're gonna...
All right, but thanks again.
You're welcome.